Do you have a room rented here?
Doesn't matter.
You need to go too.
You can't criminally trespass me unless you're the property owner, so get with that.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, yeah, good Lord, I know my rights. Thank you very much.
Hi, how are ya?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're independent media.
So am I.
Oh, awesome.
Hi.
Hello. We're creating a documentary about the protests that are going on here. I'm wondering if you would be willing to do an interview and talk about
Sure, absolutely.
who you are and
Sure.
what you're doing and what's
100%, I'm totally willing.
your experiences, stories, anything.
Yeah.
To put your mask on, or you
No, I'm good.
Okay.
It makes it difficult for you to hear.
That's true.
So I'll look over your shoulder and make like it's a conversation.
Okay.
Who are you guys?
We are Spectral Films.
Okay.
We're a documentary company based off of Portland,
Right on.
and we've been covering this since Saturday.
Okay, right on. So I'll tell you guys who I am.
All right.
I'm Mike BlueHair. I've been doing a cop watch project called Film the Police Portland for about 10 years. I'm an activist journalist hybrid. What I do is I focus my beat is on police accountability, protest issues. I cover all kinds of protests. Doesn't matter if it's right, left, or center, whatever. I'm about people's civil rights and observing the police. So that's what I'm here for, is to document police activity, and if they hurt someone, then it gets documented, and people can get, at the very least, they can get their do justice in the court of public opinion. So that's what I'm about. I'm a cop watcher.
And what are your thoughts on everything going on with this protest?
This is an idea whose time has come. We have multi-generations of racial and economic inequality where police have been brutalizing people, police have been killing people, police have been stealing people's property. Okay, I'll give an example. Okay, I think it was 2018 through something called asset forfeiture seizure. Okay, more property was taken by law enforcement from people than all illicit theft combined. Okay, and they said, oh, you might have done something illegal, so we're going to steal your house or your car. There's like a blunt in your back seat, so we're going to steal your car. So what we're looking at right now, all these protests, is a culmination of pure, raw, unadulterated, justifiable anger, in my opinion. Okay, but if your issue is racial inequality, the police are disproportionately mass incarcerating people of color. They are systematically terrorizing people of color, and this has gone on for hundreds of years. I mean, if you look at the municipal police forces that were first created in this country, they were all former slave-catching organizations, and they evolved from that culture of systemic racism and tyranny and oppression. So what you're seeing now is a raw, visceral response to all of that. So I'm sorry, I don't agree with hurting people, but law enforcement have been systematically tyrannizing, killing people, murdering people, stealing their stuff for hundreds of years in this country, and I don't care. I don't care if they burn down buildings. Okay, I don't. I value the sanctity of human life more than I do property. The sanctity of human life and the fact that they've been doing this to black people and poor white people and everybody for hundreds of years in this country is more important. So if a couple buildings have to get burned down for us to prove to the system that human life has value, so be it.
And do you think, what was going through your mind when you saw the precinct burn down in
I was thinking that I wish, I pray to everything holy that I was standing there so I could throw my body on the cop. If I was there, I would have attacked the cop. I would have dove on him. I've talked to multiple people that are friends of mine that said they would have physically intervened. And now what I'm seeing is a mass movement of people that are willing to physically intervene, and I think it's beautiful.
Can you expand more on that beauty that you're
Sure. Since white people have remained silent in this country for so many decades, they've tacitly allowed this violence to be done against black folks and Mexican folks, poor brown folks, whatever, people of color, all these other races, they've allowed it with their silence, So I have the privilege of being taken into custody, even with a gun, and be taken into custody without dying. A black person in my same situation, if they just make what the cops call a furtive movement, if they reach for their ID too quickly, they're going to get killed. So I have a privilege to be able to have physically intervened, and maybe I wouldn't have died. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that duty to respond. White silence equals violence.
Do you have any experiences you'd be willing to share with?
Sort of alternative media since about 2008.
Right.
Okay, in 2012, I had my back broken by cops. I have, it felt like a break. It was bulging disc in my spine by being beaten. I spent 15 years of my life homeless, being brutalized by cops. I've had cops arrest me and hyperextend my elbow because I fed pigeons bread, and they claimed I was trying to steal a bicycle. So I lived on the street, 15 years homeless, watching the poor and underclasses be walked on by law enforcement. And I'm just so pleased that you have everybody from middle America and every social class coming out to say we've had enough as a country and a nation. And I've seen all these rulers come to the table now, because you don't negotiate from a position of weakness, you negotiate from a position of strength. Okay, it took them 4 days to bring that murdering pig into charges. Usually it takes about a year and a half, talking about dismantling Minneapolis police into something else and reforming it into a system to where they send out, they're talking about disbanding their police and sending out mental health care providers and sending out people that are experts in dealing with people that have mental health crises, and the police are there as a security team for them. So the cops will get training now through their experience, through their job, watching how to deal with people and quote, suspects. I mean, I call them other human beings, but quote, suspects in a way that's humanistic as opposed to just a threat to be removed. And I think it's beautiful. And I'm sorry, but these lawmakers and these snakes that live in buildings, that you know, and they work in buildings called the Justice Center, where all the injustice happens, they wouldn't be coming to the table to negotiate. They wouldn't be talking about reform if it wasn't for the threat of the violence, if it wasn't for the riots. What we're looking at is a 21st century equivalent to what happened in the 1960s. There was something called the Long Hot Summer in the 1960s, and you had over, I think it was like 170 riots in one summer, and the state, the government had two choices. They could either go with the peaceful Martin Luther King types, or they'd negotiate with the Black Panther Party for self-defense, or they'd negotiate with the Black Muslim Brotherhood, or they'd negotiate with people that are willing to throw a brick or vote with a brick. They chose to go with the peaceful, come to the negotiation table, and then we got a civil rights movement. So what I say is all power to the people. We need to use this leverage of this fear and violence that the government, it's time for the government to be afraid of the people again, and we can get substantive reform if we come to the negotiation table, say we want police unions to be looked at and modified in a way so they don't have so much power, so they can't get away with killing people, and a number of other type changes in law by people that are way smarter than me. I'm just an activist. But like I said, my final words is all power to the people, and we can do this.
I have a couple questions for you, if you don't mind. Do you know how long it takes for somebody to be a police officer and what qualifications they need?
It depends on the city. Portland Police Bureau used to have a requirement that you get a bachelor's associate's degree to work in the bureau, but so few people want to work here because it's such a shit industry, it's such a shit job that they lowered the hiring standards to a GED, and you can now have tattoos like on your face and stuff, and like it's just ridiculous. They've had to lower the hiring standards because there's so much corruption and evil in Portland Police Bureau.
Do you think that, how do you compare the Portland Police Bureau to anywhere else in the country?
Well, when I spent the 15 years homeless, I traveled all over the country, and Portland is not really a super violent city. But there's not as much police brutality in this city as there is in many others. But when they do mess up, there's uniform corruption everywhere, and it's systemic, from the officer level all the way to the police commissioner, which is Ted Wheeler. And there's something unique to Portland that you don't see in any other city in America, and it's insane. Okay, check this out. Okay, our police commissioner and our mayor is the same person. So how can there be any kind of separation of powers, right? It's the same job. Police commissioner and mayor is the same person. How can there be separation of powers between the police and the government if the highest government official is the police commissioner? It makes no sense. So that needs to go. That's one of the things we need to bring to the negotiation table in Portland and take care of it.
You talk about things going wrong. Is there something that they messed up with?
Sure. The murder of Quantas Hayes. You know, the murder of John Ellifritz.
Can you kind of explain that about
Quantus Hayes was a teenage boy who was shot in the back by a Portland police officer while he was on his knees, asking for help. They perceived him as being non-compliant, and he was shot in the back. Okay, what the police do when there's a high-profile killing here in this city, like the Hayes family has been through hell. Portland Police Bureau their officers have driven by their houses, shining flashlights in their windows. They've gone to their work. When I call Portland Police Bureau's gang unit the minority harassment squad, because I systematically go out into the community and film the police, and I can tell you, I never see gang enforcement pulling over anybody white. And when they pull people over, a lot of times I'll show up and they'll just let the people go real quick. But something that I've heard ad nauseum, the cops will ask, who's your family? What's your last name? Are you a Hayes? I've seen gang unit ask cars full of black folks, are you a Hayes? And then, that's just the flavor of the month, because if there's another high profile killing, they'll be doing that. And it just makes me sick to my stomach that they systematically harass the families of victims of extrajudicial killings, because that's what it is. It's Judge Dredd in the street killing people without judge or jury, just execution. And they've been getting away with it. And I'm so impressed and inspired by, oh my God, so distracted, just had a brain fart. Is that the red camera? No, on your shoulder. Is that the red camera?
No, it's not. It's something like the red camera. It's equivalent, but it's not. Yeah.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Back to the point. I'm sorry. I just love the camera. It's gorgeous. What were you saying?
You were talking about Hayes, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the Hayes family. They're literally being harassed, and it's still going on years later.
And
there's a great documentary, Moose. It's in production right now. It's about Quantus Hayes' murder, and you guys should check that out.
Yes. Great, thank you.
And we heard that yesterday. Were you here yesterday?
Yeah. No, day before.
You weren't here yesterday?
No, I wasn't here yesterday. I was here day before when they did a whole lot of tear gas and less lethal day before yesterday. I filmed it all. By the way, if you want to check out my work, I'm the Oregon Cop Watcher on YouTube. Please do. The Oregon Cop Watcher on YouTube. Do check out my work.
And my card's right here. Please do email me.
I will, because then I can sign a release for you.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think we need releases because it's a public event.
Okay, cool.
But still, absolutely.
If you do a doc, I'll sign whatever you need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, my favorite Antifa super soldier.
I love you. I love you too. Thank you so much.
Did you hear about the violence that happened yesterday? The aggression?
Some of it, but it's par for the course. It's probably the same stuff that happened yesterday. Yesterday, they ordered people to move, right? They ordered people to move from here. I was standing right there on that island where it's up a little step higher, and those people standing here with the umbrellas non-violently yesterday, or last night, or no, night before last. Night before last, those people standing here non-violently in rows with the umbrellas, they ordered them to move. People didn't move, and then they fired volleys of less lethal at them and made them move before anybody threw anything in self-defense. Because I'm sorry. Oh, here's one for you. Check this out. How's this for just nuts? Okay, it's illegal to use tear gas in war because it's indiscriminate. It affects and hurts everyone, even non-combatants. But it's legal to use on the streets against your own people. How's that for crazy? So yeah, I watched police fire volleys of less lethal weapons at this crowd of people without any provocation the day before yesterday.
Do you think that if generally police are, important police are not as aggressive
in my opinion,
life,
yeah,
right? Do you think this kind of thing kind of maybe kind of pokes them enough to kind of be? I mean, if
please say that louder because I can't hear you.
Okay, so do you think?
Hey, don't go too far. Okay.
Do you think that when the cops have been doing this for 2 weeks straight, right? Like something's gonna give. Like that's human nature.
Yeah.
Right? And do you think that yesterday's reaction and the aggression lately has been because of that?
That's a human nature thing. When you get tired, you're gonna make dumb decisions, and a lot of times choosing violence is a dumb decision. So yes, them being wore down, people going at this building for 8 days, I'm sure it's gonna weigh on them. But do I have any? I view them as human beings, but they're human beings that are choosing to be an oppressor. I think everyone has agency, and they have moral and ethical responsibility to do a different job, you know, or go work for one of these municipalities that are less violent, you know. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for them, but I do see the human side of it, that, you know, when they're fatigued, when they're overworked and short-staffed, and oh, guess what? I think they're running out of less lethal. I think they're running out of tear gas and rubber bullets. I've done a count of all the officers in downtown Portland. You have 80 officers protecting the Justice Center. You have 40 RRT squad in riot gear riding around on vehicles. You have another 25 in patrol cars. What's that, less than 300 people? They run out of less lethal. There's nothing between this crowd and that building but air and opportunity. And I won't shed a tear. I hear them firing less lethal right now. I am like not doing my job as a cop watcher, so I gotta bounce. Thank you for having me take that thing off my face and talking with me. Yeah. Mike at BlueHair.
This is an unlawful assembly. Leave downtown Portland to the west.
I'm trying to help him out. I'm trying to help him out. Stop. I'm trying to help him out.
I have a back injury.
Come on, bro. Shit. I'm trying to help your player. Come on. Go. Get up. Let's go. Keep moving.
I have a back injury.
Are you okay?
No.
Hey, behind me. Let's go.
I was just shoved to the ground pretty hard.
Fucking dirty cops. Wanna slam me on the hood, dirty cops. Try to rob me for my rights, but I know my rights, I know.